All of Ashdown will burn.
This is the bear skull cello. We call it the scullo.
Skillo.
Scullo.
9 hours start now. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Katie Afraidy on the Fangoria Network. I'm your host, Katie Hettenbach, and guys, we've never done an interview like this before. It's first, and so I'm so excited. He is a TV movie composer. You might know him from his most recent work, though. Winnie the Pooh 2, Blood and Honey. Andrew Scott Bell.
I have to be my own hype machine sometimes.
Hype machine. You're like it's just Ben in the back clapping.
Woo.
Yay!
Thanks, Ben.
Yay! Dude, this movie is like blowing up in like a weird way. Does that make sense? In like the best way.
I like all the feedback we're getting, and I like that people are loving it. The first one was tough because it felt like a lot of people loved it, but then like a lot of people really hated it in a really angry way. So this one's fun that I think people are just on board for the camp and the B movie slasher that we all love.
Yeah. So
we're all trying to create.
It is so fun. If you have not seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, the original, I would say go watch it, because honestly, John, former producer of the pod, has been trying to get me to watch it. He's like, you gotta see this movie, you gotta have someone review it. It is so good. It is so, it's so bad. It's so bad. I watched it last night.
It's fun. I watched
it last night. Honestly, it's not bad. It's really not bad. I'm like, I've seen worse, but also it was fun. I'm like, well, when you say Winnie the Pooh horror movie, and if you expect something to be, then that's on you. But like these are fun, campy, silly parody horror movies.
Exactly.
They're fun. There's a really weird Mickey Mouse horror movie
that's coming out.
No, it's been out for a while. It was like they shot it like guerrilla style. It's called Escape from Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. It's like a Disneyland thing.
Yeah.
They guerrilla style filmed it there.
Yeah,
everything.
And it's all in black and white because it's like shot on different days. They got kicked out of the park several times because you're not supposed to film on certain stuff.
I need to see that movie.
It's not great, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's also like the point of horror is some of it's supposed to be scary, but some of it's supposed to be scary and fun. Like as long as you have fun, like that's like the main point.
Horror is such a big tent that they're like I remember seeing people say like it's movies like this, or like, bad horror gives horror a bad name, and like nobody says that about like fart joke comedies. You know what I mean? Like like horror is such a big camp. There's room for all of us under the tent, and there's room for Midsommar and Escape from Tomorrowland.
Exactly.
Like we can have fun with it all.
Exactly. And it's also like like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Even with comedy, like there's different genres of comedy.
Yeah.
There's different like genres, subgenres in horror.
I only personally like elevated comedies.
Yes.
I'm an elevated comedy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like nobody says that about comedies or like dramas. Like I only like elevated drama.
Like I don't even know what that means.
Exactly.
Like, it's
why would we say it? Elevated. Anyways.
Yes.
Don't get me started.
Don't even get me. Yeah. Like even in Scream 5, Tara's like, have you seen Scream 5?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I only like elevated horror.
Like, get out of here. You're in a Scream movie.
I'm like, I know that's your character, but also like what is considered elevated? Like hoity-toity film school? Okay, then sure, that makes sense. But then like what's considered a hoity-toity like comedy?
I think that
now I'm thinking like what film school kids think, like would Napoleon Dynamite
maybe
be considered?
I was thinking more like Sunshine of a Spotless
Eternal.
Mind.
Is that I thought it was more of a drama.
I think it has comedic elements too, right? I don't know. That's where we're traversing down a pointless road of.
But yeah, no, it's just it's good to talk about, and it's like it's who knows.
Well, what would be elevated? Maybe like Little Miss Sunshine could be an elevated.
Okay,
comedy,
yeah.
Where it's like a dramedy, dry comedy.
Yeah.
But I think there's room for that and Anchorman, for example.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to pick; we can just enjoy.
Like when he's yelling, they're coming into the back door! They're coming into the back door! And Christina Applegate's just like trying not to laugh, but you can clearly see her breathing.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
But also like Little Miss Sunshine, like the grandpa's dead, and they're like hauling him. Like that's funny.
It's all funny.
It's
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
It's dark, but it's just like it's different. But that's so Winnie the Pooh 2
is elevated horror, is what you're saying.
It's elevated horror. It is peak. I had no idea when I watched it in theaters, which honestly I think is the way, like
with a crowd.
With a crowd.
Yeah, I think so.
The crowd was insane. Whatever the dude was, whoever was sitting next to me, anytime I was like, "Woo!" he would like, "Woo woo, yeah!" And I was like, "Okay, I can't do this." I'm like, "You're." And
too high.
It's too much. Too much.
He probably worked. It was probably one of the actors.
Yeah, he was great though. But I was like, I don't know if he was. He just was like really excited for the film, which I'm like, as you should be. You should be.
That's been my favorite part, I think, of this movie is, well, it's one of the only ones I've worked on that has like had a theater presence. But I've seen other movies that I've worked on in theaters with people. But this one, when you see it in theaters, there's like people cheering, people laughing.
Yeah.
It's almost like you've been to Alamo Drafthouse in downtown when they have like the Cats Rowdy screening?
Yeah.
It's almost like every screening of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 1 and Blood and Honey 2 is allowed to be a rowdy screening.
Yeah.
Like anywhere you go. So there are people like laughing and cheering and like screaming. And that's sometimes my favorite kind of horror theater experience is when the people are like yelling like, "Don't go in there," and we can all like laugh together, so that's been one of my favorite parts of being part of this like new franchise, is that it's like, one, it's introducing a whole new audience to micro budget slashers, which I think is great, and two, it's like creating a rowdy screening culture around it that I hope that when I'm like 75, I'm going to rowdy screens of Pooh, Blood and Honey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Blood and Honey, like
people throwing
17.
forks at
the rise of Christopher.
Right, rise of Eeyore.
Eeyore. Oh, is Eeyore coming in the third movie?
I mean, they could do anything. It's horror, right?
Right. How did you get involved with this? Because it's so fun. It's honestly like, I didn't know what to expect when I walked into the screening, and I was like, you know what? That was actually pretty good. That was actually like a really good horror movie. And it was campy, it was fun.
Yeah,
and
campy,
like,
fun slasher.
That's that's all you want in a slasher. Like, there's gonna be silly elements. It's Winnie the Pooh. Like, you can't, but it was fun.
Yeah. I'm glad you thought so. I guess almost like 2 years ago, I started to hear whispers around town. Mm-hmm. I say this a lot, but like, that phrase that like Los Angeles is the biggest small town in America because everybody knows everybody. Mm-hmm. But I think that's so true. But then I also think that the Los Angeles horror community is like the biker bar on the outskirts of town where we all hang out. So it's even smaller, you know? So I remember hearing, I think it was my friend Amma, maybe, but somebody told me at some event, did you hear they're making a Winnie the Pooh horror movie?
And you were like, get me on that immediately.
I was like, get out of here. This sounds so fun. Because I like bigger, more bombastic style horror music, like Hellraiser by Chris Young, like this, big. I like movies and music that allows. I like music in movies that allows the music to be like big and like almost operatic. And I felt like Winnie the Pooh would be such a fun premise that we could go so far with it and kind of push the musical boundaries that, you wouldn't necessarily be able to do in like, an intimate demon in a house story or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's so interesting that you're like Winnie the Pooh. operatic.
Yeah, I mean,
I love that. I love that. Like, my brain would never think that, but I love that you're like, this is like, because that's like the creative side of it, and that's so awesome.
Thanks.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it was just a chance to be like serious and silly at the same time. So I went to IMDb and I looked up who's making it, and it was a really unique name, so it was easy to find. Reese Frake Waterfield, not a very common name.
Yeah.
So I looked him up on Instagram and found his page where he was already, as the movie was like just starting to go viral from like an announcement, I think on Dread Central maybe. And he was already getting like comments and, you know, hate and anger from people who are so precious of their, you know, little Pooh Bear.
Yeah.
And so a lot of comments were saying like, you're ruining my childhood. How dare you? Stuff like that. And he was screenshotting all of those and then posting them to his Instagram story saying like, I want to ruin the entire world's childhood. You know, like I'm out to ruin everyone's childhood. And I just responded to one of those stories and I said, can I help you ruin everyone's childhood? I'd love to help, you know? And I think he thought that was pretty funny. So we started talking from there and exchanging ideas. And actually, I remember that was like in May maybe or something. And then in June, my wife Ashley and I were going to go on a cruise for my parents like love cruises.
Okay.
So my dad was like retiring. So he was like, everybody come with us on a cruise. So like my brother and his wife and the kids and me and Ashley, like we all went on this Alaskan cruise.
Fun.
And we're walking down to the parking garage where, you know, with our suitcases. And I remember saying to Ashley, like, yeah, I mean, it seemed like, you know, things went well, but I don't know. I never really heard back about that Pooh movie. I guess they got somebody else. And then while we're walking down with our suitcases, I get a WhatsApp invitation to a Winnie the Pooh crew text thread that's like, hey, when are you ready to start? And it was like, oh, I guess I'm on this movie. So it's a really informal way to bring me on the movie.
But isn't that always how it is, where you're like, oh, I guess I'm not going to get this?
Yeah.
And then, like, it's like a sign from, like, the universe if you do it. Like, where you're like, oh, this was you know what? Perfect timing. I love that.
Yeah, the exact right way.
But also hilarious that he's like, we're not even going to tell you. I'm just going to put you in.
I'm not going to ask if you're available.
No,
just
I'm
like,
just going to put you in the group chat. I'm just assuming
yes,
you are. I'm going to put you in the group chat. You wanted to be part of it, you know.
The thing that I learned about Reese and Scott and Vince and all those people who made the first movie and made the second movie, and, you know, the creative team who stayed for both, you know, is they make a ton of movies per year.
Yeah. What they said, like, they made like 100?
Yes, Scott
like
said at some point, you know, this is a great story, and I think it wouldn't work for everybody, but it's definitely worked for them. Is that Scott decided, instead of, you know, I want to start producing films. He's an actor. He's been acting for a long time, but he wanted to start producing films. And instead of going to, like, you know, film school, which is one very valid route to take in filmmaking, or instead of trying to make that one film that gets into Sundance or something, which is also another valid way, he was like, I'm just going to try to make 100 profitable movies before I turn 30. And he did it. You know, I mean, he did it for, you know, $15,000-$20,000 each movie, but then they all, like, if next time you go to Walmart, go to the DVD section.
Is it just in?
And there's like a wall of Jagged Edge Productions movies that are like Easter Bunny Massacre and like Dino Hotel.
The Easter Bunny, that was them.
That was them. They made so many movies.
When I heard that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Also, our immediate thought is, where are they getting all this money? Are they crowdfunding?
No, they get investors that, I mean, they work with
amazing.
they work with a company called Uncorked, and they work with a company called ITN, and they're, you know, in a really smart way, they make movies for really cheap that get distributed to Walmart and Redbox, and people buy them, and they make their, you know, it's not the biggest budget, you know, films, but they make their money back and then some to go into more movies. So
that's so cool.
The hustle that those guys put in is impressive, and I'm really proud to know them because they work really hard. So when you know, in hindsight, in the moment, I was like, wow, it's such a weird. Normally, there's like a Zoom call and there's a contract, and I have to get my manager, and there's a whole thing. But these guys are just like, oh, quick, I forgot. Let's bring Andy into this WhatsApp thread because they're shooting like 3 movies at once. Do you know what I mean?
Which is they were saying that they're already starting Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Which is, I love Peter Pan. So I was Captain Hook in Peter Pan.
Captain Hook.
In my community theater production in high school. So
that's pretty.
It was. I beat out all the guys, and I'm violently obsessed.
It's kind of a good.
I got the hair.
You got the hair.
It was more like dreadlocky.
Yeah.
In high school.
Like a Captain Jack Hook.
Yeah, it was like
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it was like my curls were like different, and I feel like my hair's poofy right now, but like it was like everyone's like, you have Captain Hook hair. It just looks.
Give me a little hook. Give me something. What's like a line?
Give
me a hook
line. I have so many lines memorized, and people who know me know that what you talked about Captain Hook? I always talk about Captain Hook. Like I'm obsessed. My car is the Jolly Roger. That's how much I love it. What was on? It was like, who is to bring out that doodle doo? I think it was you who volunteered, Starkey. And it was like, no, it's damnation. Who is to bring out that doodle doo? That's what it is.
What does a doodle do?
Cause Peter Pan does the
cockadoodle.
It's like,
yeah.
Damnation. I just love the word damnation.
Damnation.
And I got carried in by a bunch of like 6th and 7th graders because it was like kids community theater. So like the kids were playing the adults, and I got carried in by a bunch of like really small pirates like down the stairs. And I'm just like, I'm gonna murder everybody. They're like, you weren't a scary Captain Hook, but you were a funny one. And I'm like, I think
Captain Hook is kind of camp.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he's very scary.
No.
I've never been scared of any Captain Hooks.
Yeah.
Like the cartoon, Dustin Hoffman when he plays him in the movie Hook. It's camp. He's almost kind of a queen.
He's just kind of like he's got the
he's a
like
lot
the
of swag.
Hair, what is it? Austin Powers says it. A
mojo
cravat. That's what that's called.
The
frilly, which I feel like that's like a, I don't know.
It has a thing.
It's a thing. It looks fun.
Think I would like to be able to rock that. I would also like to be able to rock an ascot. I don't think I can.
You know what? You could. It doesn't hurt to try. And if it fails, it fails.
I don't think I have the neck for it. I think you have to have a thin, because you're adding extra layers.
Well, you could put it down more. So
I think I would just look like a Tuscan Raider or something. What am I thinking of?
How big is the scarf?
Aren't they very thick and silky?
Well, I think you can do it with like any scarf. Like you could, or like a piece of like, like fat, like.
So it doesn't go around your neck. It just kind of fluffs into the. Ben, what's an ascot?
Because in my theory, you could also do like when people tie bandanas around their neck.
Ben's Googling it so we can see.
I would consider that also to be an ascot.
Just a tied around? Yeah. I thought it had to be like tucked in.
But I think it's like a variation. I think that's like a different. But I think those are technically ascots because Fred Jones in Scooby, he oftentimes like will just tie it, but he'll also have it. So it's like I think it's both.
Ascot is silk, and as opposed to a neckerchief, which is a square scarf.
So an ascot is not a way that you wear it; it's just a material of a scarf. It's like a specific type of scarf. So you're right; you could wear an ascot in any way.
Yeah. It's just like the fab. Yeah, interesting.
Usually tied with a simple four-in-hand knot that rests snugly against the collar. It appears to be worn tightly against the neck.
So tightly against the neck. Okay. Tightly against the neck, folded in.
I just feel like I don't have a lot of real estate down here for something to be tucked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it would be a lot. It's like a lot on the neck.
Like a proud chipmunk, like puffing out his chest or something. Which it's not a bad look.
It could be a look. You could try it one day. Hey, try it one day and then let us know how it goes. Like,
what do you think? Next time, I'll bring an ascot. Ben's giving a thumb up.
He's like, this is great. He's like, this is the greatest thing ever. So.
Where? Oh, you're a Captain Hook.
Yeah.
We're talking about Peter Pan's Neverland Night.
Yeah.
There's a lot in Peter Pan that is like already horrific.
Oh yeah.
So you don't have to elaborate a lot.
And even like Once Upon a Time. Have you seen that show?
But I'm familiar.
I'm rewatching it right now because whenever I edit, I can't just have one screen. I have to have 7, and I usually have that playing on in the background. They had an entire Neverland scene, and Peter Pan's the villain.
Yeah.
And he like kidnaps kids and like is trying to kill them, and it's really dark. But it's also like it's so easy to turn that that character into a villain because he literally steals kids.
He steals kids and he takes them to a place where they never grow up. Yeah. So it's like it's already there.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And if you just think about it, Neverland in a different way, it makes it very horrific. The other thing that I think that is very easy to do, someone like with Captain Hook, he lost his hand, and normally there's like a whole frilly, whatever there, but like. Pull it back. What does that look like?
Yeah.
With somebody who doesn't have a hand but has a hook coming out of it.
Yeah.
That's pretty. There's not a lot of depictions of that. Like, certainly not in the Disney versions.
Oh yeah.
But it's pretty grotesque to think about.
Yeah. Peter Pan is the villain. He chopped somebody's hand off.
He did.
Yeah.
I thought the alligator. Oh, he chopped it off and fed it to the crocodile.
Yeah. What a monster. What a dick.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Yeah.
I'm like Captain Hook's always right. Peter's the.
Because what is Captain Hook doing wrong?
He's just trying to live his life, and then he's just being a pirate, doing pirate things.
Yeah.
Trying to steal things.
There's not even anything to steal. It's just he's just like there to
just
drink and
around and like hanging out with Smee and the guys. What's up?
Is Peter Pan like technically older than Captain Hook? Shouldn't he know better?
He's a kid though. Peter Pan is a little kid. I don't think he would know.
Are you saying like Peter Pan established Neverland, and then somehow Hook got to Neverland after it was already there?
I guess because if he never grows up, he might be like thousands of years old.
It's true. It's possible. If Hook is an indication, which is I love the movie Hook.
It's so good.
If that's an indication, then Peter Pan is like from like the 20s or something, because there's that scene where it shows him like in like a little. What do they call those little carriage?
Why do I want to say bassinet? That's not
maybe.
Right. No. Yeah. We'll just the old timey strollers.
You can tell none of us have kids. What is this? What is the thing called?
What is the thing?
It's a stroller, right?
But it's called something specific.
The ones that used to be like a bed.
Yeah, and it had like the little like thing over it. It was like really elaborate.
And that hasn't been around. So I think.
No. Yeah.
If Hook is any indication, then Peter Pan is from the 20s.
Yeah.
But he could be way older. You're right, man. I think he could be like, from anywhere. He could be from Mesopotamia or something.
Honestly, probably. So I was on set of Winning Time because I was a PA on that show.
I love that show.
It's so fucking fun. But they had so many background, and so all of the makeup people would have to clean sideburns. So they were going back into because they keep facial hair from movies and they reuse it. Fun fact, guys, did you know that? It's pretty gross. But they clean it, and they were reusing stuff from like the Flintstones movie. But they also were reusing stuff from Hook, and I got to see Dustin Hoffman's mustache.
No way.
And I was gonna bribe the makeup person because I knew her really well, and I was like,
can I get that?
Can I get that? It still had his makeup on it. And I was like, I'm like, this is so fucking weird to ask, but I'm like, can I literally have this?
Did you you took a picture of it or something?
I think I did, yeah. But it's like a really shitty picture. But I was like, Mom, and she's like, that's gross. I'm like, Mom, it's your favorite movie. I was gonna get this for you, and she goes, I don't want that. I'm like, you do though. You do.
Merry Christmas, Mom.
Here's a piece of facial hair.
You can use it to clone Dustin Hoffman.
There you go.
take the skin cells from the.
You also sounded like Trump pretty good there for a second.
Oh.
It was like a hot second. You had like a really good Trump impression. Do you have a good Trump impression?
I used to when he was on The Apprentice.
Okay.
I hated Trump back then.
Oh, for sure.
But like my whole family would watch that show, and then I would make fun of him because I just thought he was such an idiot.
Yeah.
So it used to be you're fired. You know?
It's pretty good. I just was like,
okay.
I just heard, I was like, that might have been a good impression. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Pretty good. The impressions are fun. Anyways, we went to Peter Pan. We went to Trump.
Peter Pan.
We're back at Winnie the Pooh.
We're back to Winnie the Pooh.
Also, in general, what was your first instrument? What that you played in general?
I think when I was growing up, I have ADHD. I almost said I had it, but you never get rid of it. It's with you forever.
It's a for lifer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my friend,
Yeah.
my sidecar, you know. When I was a kid, that manifested in like a chaotic, like distracted energy. As you grow up, it kind of just, is internally chaotic and not outwardly chaotic.
What? No.
Sometimes
What?
coffee helps until it doesn't. There's a threshold.
Yeah.
But my parents didn't know what to do with me, I think, so they were signing me up for like anything, because I think I had this just like creative like need to get creativity out, even as a young age. So they were signing me up for art classes, piano lessons, dance lessons, because my friend Kayla was in dance, so I took ballet with Kayla. But in all of those instances, like I didn't like to be taught and like told, like in the dance ballet, like I vividly remember just being away from the class, because the whole class would be like learning the routine.
Yeah.
And the teacher was like, I don't know what to do with this guy. I don't normally have guys, maybe.
Yeah.
So I just vividly remember being like on the other side, like dancing in front of the mirror, like my own stuff, you know? And so the same was true for piano lessons. I just hated piano lessons. And I think it's probably like early 90s, these, like, bless their hearts, but these like grumpy blue-haired ladies.
Always.
And just like telling me like I have to play piano this way and not the way that I wanted to learn.
You have to have it like with the arch. You gotta like, you can't have it down like this. I would always do that. And they're like, you have such great piano hands. I'm like, I can't.
No, you want to play?
Up. I'm like, I want to.
And then they would like slap your hands.
Yeah.
Terrible. So I didn't really take to any of those except art, because I think like when you have like a sketch or whatever, like the point is to draw whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I took to that mostly, I think. But then later in life, and I was always kind of interested. Like at some point, I wanted to be like, is it Tim or Jim Davis from Garfield?
Mm-hmm.
Jim Davis. Tim Davis. Jim Davis.
Jim sounds right.
Jim Davis. Tim Davis.
Tim.
T.
Yim.
It doesn't matter. I'm always getting stuck. I'm always getting stuck with these things that. But I want it to be like The Far Side or Calvin and Hobbes. I wanted to have like a Sunday cartoon.
Fun.
Then I wanted to be a Disney animator, because everyone who grew up in the 90s wanted to be a Disney animator. Then I thought I wanted to be a director, because I got really into like the behind the scenes of movies and stuff. And then I found my way to music from the soundtrack to Forrest Gump that I had, and I would put my stereo on the piano and press play and listen and learn how to play the Forrest Gump theme on the piano.
Wow.
And then I started to write my own music, and it was all, so I came to music on the piano, and then I started to play trumpet in high school, or middle school, and then in high school I played the guitar. And so I think your question was if I can remember an hour ago, because I've been talking for an hour.
You're good.
Your question was, where did I first play? And I think the answer was piano, but not in a way that it's like reading sheet music.
Yeah.
I learned more of that stuff like as a trumpet player, like one note at a time.
Yeah.
So I'm not great at like reading sheet music, but I can like write it and read it slowly. But I'm not,
You're more of like the vibe.
Yeah, like I
I'm
play
just
by
gonna
ear,
play.
and I came to music through like intuition and feeling, and less through like the language of notation. But then when I went to school, in high school, like after high school, I went to college and got my bachelor's in music composition and music theory. So I definitely read and can write sheet music.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't as much anymore, because everything's on the computer and everything's like you record stuff and it's all. Yeah.
That's so cool. So you didn't play the recorder?
Oh, I feel like I must have played the recorder in elementary school.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's probably the first one. Yeah, because we had little recorder choirs.
They were awful.
Did you play?
Oh yeah. I think I was like that was I was thinking, I'm like, that's my first instrument, I think.
I think that's everyone's first instrument.
I played piano, and then I quit, and then I played saxophone for 3 years, and then I broke my hand, and then I was like, I hate this.
Oh.
But
you broke your hand playing saxophone?
No, I smashed it into a wall.
You smashed it into a wall?
And then I was in a cast for 7 months.
You smashed the saxophone into the wall?
No, my hand into
the wall. Oh, okay.
No, I wanted to smash it.
Because you could have.
I could have done both. You're right.
Yeah,
I need to thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
No,
well, I just wanted to. I'm imagining
okay.
the scenario where we were smashing a sax into the. I was like, it must have been a really good song.
But I couldn't play, and I basically forgot how to play, and I was like, "There's no point. I'm never gonna go near this."
When did you play sax? In high school?
In middle school. Because my brother played saxophone from 6th grade to 8th grade, and I was like, "I'm gonna play saxophone too. This is awesome." And my parents we just recently found my saxophone, so now because
you should pick it up again.
When I was I also live in an apartment complex.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how I'm gonna get it from Wisconsin here, so I play when I go home, but not well. But I like to, because when I was little, I would force my entire family to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna play hot cross buns, and you're all gonna sit and watch."
Yeah.
So I've now just been doing that, but I can't play anymore. So I just play gibberish, or like even at my friend's, jokingly for her wedding, I was like, for my speech, I'm gonna play a love song, and I did it. I was like, da-da-da-da. So Jeremy and Emma, you guys are having love today, and I'm just hitting buttons, and they're like, this is awful. I'm like, this love. This is what you're getting. This is love. This is passion.
Is marriage. Yeah.
This is for you guys.
Yeah.
So
the notes aren't always good, but if the intention is there,
and that's all that matters.
That's partnership. That's love.
Holy matrimony.
I think that's very sweet.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
Plus, if they ever want kids, like, they're gonna have to learn how to deal with shrieking, crazy sound. Yeah, this is very.
See, I'm helping them. It's like you get it.
They didn't get it. You get it.
You get it. You get it. You get it.
We get it.
We get it. We get it. So. Let's talk about these instruments, because these are fucking crazy. You sent me, or I think you were just describing them to me, and I was like, I'm gonna stop you right there. I was like, yes, I don't need to know anymore. I was like, you were saying like beehive violin with Jameson bottle full of. You said teeth and bones?
Yeah. Do you want to start with that one?
Are they real teeth and bones?
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad that. So that's where my teeth went. Oh God.
So I work with. Sometimes I get the great fortune of working with an experimental luthier. A luthier is a person who builds string instruments like guitars. You can be a luthier who designs and builds guitars.
Yeah.
You can make and build violins, cello, all sorts of string instruments. Yeah. But the reason he's like experimental is because he likes to kind of like take them apart, reassemble them. You know, what would happen if I put a violin in the dishwasher? At some point, like what he does is like performance art.
Okay, yeah.
Because if you ever go to his page, and you should go to his page, it's @ViolinTorture on Instagram. All of his videos, especially like the dishwasher one, or like the one where he grilled it on a barbecue, they're all filled with comments from people who are like former violinists, or just people who are just like, how could you do this? It's such a precious instrument. Like he's like, it's like rage bait, which I find fantastic.
So funny.
Because classical music, and the school that I went to, I felt very rebellious towards the norms as well.
Yeah.
In terms of learning classical orchestration and stuff, like why do I have to do it this way?
Yeah.
And I love that spirit in him. So that's when we connected. But he and I worked on the first movie together. He put this violin together, the beehive-violin. I'll get to that one in a minute.
Beehive-violin.
The beehive-violin is what we called it.
I just want to know like what like his dreams were as a child, and then like to now. Like, is this what you thought you were going to be doing?
Just destroying.
Just destroying instruments.
Yeah. He does it for fun. Like he does it for fun.
That's amazing.
It's like a side hobby for him.
I love it.
Because I've also been like, you should make, like this instrument, for example, he made custom for me. And I was like, you could probably sell this if it's easy to replicate and make. And he's like, I could. He's just not that interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But he and I have fun doing it. So I think he has fun coming up with new fun things, but not in a way that like becomes a job.
Yeah.
Him, I think. He mentions that he just to see what would happen, just for fun, put a violin inside of one of his beehives. And I was like, hey, Tyler, do you remember what happened? Like, whatever happened to that, beehive violin? And he was like, oh, I completely forgot that I did that. So it had been inside, this violin had been inside of the beehive for 2 years.
Oh my God.
The reason I said 10 is because normally like a beehive will have these frames, these box frames, and maybe there might be like 8 in a box or 10, and they're like this, and they sit on the sides like this, and then the bees like populate the frame with either honeycomb, like you can see here, or larva comb, like the darker ones, or the larva, where the larva would be. So this is an interesting frame because it has a mix of larvae and honey. But sometimes it might be like all honey or all larvae. And the reason that the larvae combs are darker is because they actually like walk over it to like feed the larvae.
Okay.
And that's like they're just like dirtying it up. But then they fill the ones with honey and then they like don't touch it. So that's why these ones might be darker. This is darker than like this. You can see it.
Cool.
Anyways,
but wait, can you actually play that one? Or is that...
Yeah, I played it on the soundtrack, yeah.
That's so cool.
Normally I play it like laying down, like it's like a lap steel. It's in my studio like this. Okay. And I play it like forward. But I can play it like this. It's just messier. I'll use a cello bow. I don't think it matters. So anyways, he said to me, he said, oh, I forgot all about it. Do you want me to check on it? And I was like, don't touch it. Don't even open it. I'm going to come up with my manager and I want to film it coming out of the beehive for the first time. So we did that. And he was like, well, what if it's like, because there's no guarantee. We didn't know whether the beehive would take to it. Because it's one of the it's a frame that has like a giant piece of wood in the middle of it. They might have just ignored it. Yeah. But I was like, I'll pick up like the glory boxes, and it'll be good to meet you in person and stuff like that. So it turned out that they not only like built the hive around the violin, but inside they went into these are called the F holes. Yeah. And they went into the F holes and there's honeycomb inside. So I think it affects the way that it sounds. That's not quite in tune enough. Let me see if I can. Okay, and I also have to do. So this is a cello bow, so it's not quite. It basically is working, but it has kind of this dead sound. It doesn't sound like a normal violin. Yeah. It doesn't even sound like a viola. It's its own weird, unique instrument. I've had some people tell me that it just sounds like a violin that has been destroyed, and I was like, well, I mean, it's kind of what it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's that's. So I don't know. It really was just going to be a gimmick, I think. Like, wouldn't it be funny if I played a violin that was dripping with honey on the Blood and Honey soundtrack? But then I think, like, when you hear it on the soundtrack itself, like, when it's pointed out to you, it brings its own sonic quality to the music that a violin or a viola or even a cello, like, wouldn't have brought. Mm-hmm. Especially when you record multiple takes and then you layer them, it literally sounds like bees buzzing. I could send you the sample of that.
That's so cool. It also, again, to the fact that I appreciate this so much, and I hope other people do, like, to have a bee horror movie like this, like, and have such a like intricate soundtrack that's like good. You know what I'm saying? Cause
thank you.
Because sometimes but also you're like, I want to make it. But some people are just like, oh, let me find like a free song.
Yeah.
And just throw it in and hope it works. Like,
yeah.
It's haunting.
It's
so good.
I just always try to have fun. I think I just like I'm not Hans Zimmer. I'm not getting paid $1 million, $2 million a movie. So I'm not doing it for the money.
Yeah.
I want to have fun doing this. You know what I mean? Like, why would I just pick the free thing? I want to be a film composer because I want to have fun doing it. So, the word music, the active verb for music is to play. So I'm always trying to like find ways to play and drip honey on my jeans.
Of course. You gotta get honey everywhere. Why not?
So yeah, I think, that's something I was talking to somebody about recently, which was like, once you hire me, or, it should be that once you hire a creative for your movie or your podcast or your thing, and you finish talking about money and budgets and what you can afford and what this person needs or expects, once that conversation is done, it shouldn't, to a certain extent, it shouldn't like affect the performance that they do. If they agree, if I agreed to do Blood and Honey 1 for a couple of $100, I mean, I did not make a lot of money on the music budget was spent driving up to pick up the violin on like hotel and gas.
Yeah.
And I agreed to that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give them like a half-assed product when I agreed to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to still give like everything that I can bring within reason. Like I couldn't have promised like a full orchestra because those things, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like, I'm just going to do my best and have fun and try to, I don't know, bring the best I can to like whatever movie I work on, basically.
That's amazing. And then we got the Jameson.
Oh yeah.
The good old teeth and bones.
This instrument we used on so I worked with Tyler on this one, and this is like the one that he made for me.
Yeah.
For Blood and Honey 1,
yes.
The first movie, and I used this instrument because when I went up to his place to pick up the violin, I also picked up the instrument that I had commissioned him to make for a different movie, and I ended up using it on Pooh 1 as well. You can hear it. It often sounds like a cello, but it's often layered with the cello because I have a cello that I record. So those are the two for Pooh 1. But when it came time for Pooh 2, we kind of went a little bit crazy. We went a little bit nuts because I was like, the sequel's going to be bigger. Like, let's see what we can come up with.
We got to go crazy too.
And the main instrument, which I'll show you in a sec, we have to go get and like plug in. The main instrument was a bear skull cello, because I wanted to kind of like see what it would be like if we used the hollow skull of a bear as the resonating chamber to resonate the vibration of the strings. Yeah. How would that affect,
Of course. That's an insane thing to think about, but I love it. I love it. Dare I say the Ed Gein of musical instruments?
Ed Gein. I don't know Ed Gein.
He's Ed Gein's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what he's based off of. Building furniture out of people. But I don't know why. Yeah.
Obviously.
I
could do that.
Honestly,
could go for that.
It's kind of great.
I think I could rock an apron, like a big.
He's a craftsman. He's got a craftsman. He's a craftsman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you said his name was Tyler. Tyler's a craftsman, and you guys are working together, and you're mad geniuses.
Tyler's definitely a mad genius. I love working with him because it's very simple. Like what I said to Tyler for this was, I want like an instrument that will sound like the vastness of space. And I didn't have any other plans. I didn't say like I want it to be this or that, and he just kind of came up with it. Like we might send posts or pictures back and forth. Yeah. Like I knew I wanted some kind of a bow thing. Mm-hmm. It's a cigar box bass, which you can buy like prefab. It has a ukulele bass neck and a ukulele bass strings, and then it has like a little like kids, probably 1/4 violin neck that has strings that you can bow them, but they really just are meant, like Tyler designed this extra side thing as like what's called sympathy strings, so that when you bow the main string, these also vibrate and cause these like huge overtones.
Okay.
So you can play them, but he really designed them to be what's called sympathy strings.
Yeah.
Sympathetic strings, sorry. There's a little piezo mic attached to this, so like I could put something in here that like resonate, like maybe like a shaker or something that would. So it's connected to the pickups, but I never really like ended up using it too much, though I think it's something fun I could explore in a different movie.
Yeah.
But the real thing I love about this instrument is that he put, because we're talking about like that movie is very, the vastness of space.
Yeah.
Like the creature in it is, not to spoil it, but I think it's in the trailer. I don't know. Go watch it. He put springs inside. You can probably hear as I'm talking. You can probably hear it. He put springs inside to resonate, connected to the electrical wiring, so that when it comes through the pickup, the signal goes through all these springs and then out the cable and to the amp. And it just makes this crazy big sound.
So good.
And then of course you can totally put this on once you record this onto the computer, you can like record yourself playing like 10 of them, and have like a whole like army of these things, or like you can add extra reverb to it to make it even bigger and even crazier. You can add distortion. I mean, there's, but this is, I think we have some reverb on the amp, but this is basically what it sounds like dry,
Yeah. Be kind, but don't rewind.
Rewind. So I love this instrument. I used it a lot on Pooh 1. I used it a lot on Pooh 2. You can hear it at the end of tracks, like just ringing out.
Yeah.
Because it just,
Yeah.
It's got a great sound. It's not a very long, the strings aren't very long, but they're like thick.
Yeah.
So it has a low sound to it. Then they're also coiled, because like, unlike a cello string, Ben would know. Ben played cello. The bass, like a bass guitar string, is coiled, so it has like ridges. So it makes this really gnarly. You don't normally bow these types of strings, so it makes this really gnarly sound. So, anyways, I could play this thing it's so much fun.
It's so fun.
Do you want to play it?
Oh my God, can I?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Yes. Okay. Wait, I'm so excited.
It just rests on your knee.
Okay. Let's freaking go. Oh my God.
And then you just hold this is called the frog. Here. Hold it there, and then just bow across.
Oh my God. Can you also still hear me, Ben? I'll talk louder. Is that better?
Here we go. Here we go.
Beautiful. Here we go. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Oh my God.
Faster. Yes! There you go.
Wait, and if you like, wanna oh, hey, that's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, it's a creepy
love
sound.
this. Wait, this is so cool. My mom was like, you should play the cello, you should play the violin. Mom, this is as close as you're gonna get. Creepy instruments. This is awesome.
Thank you. So here, I'll sit back down because we keep trying to talk about the Jameson bottle.
I just want to talk about the bottle filled with teeth. That's all I want to talk about.
Here, I'll sit back down before I get into it.
Literally filled with teeth and bones of my enemies.
So we came up with this idea for the bear skull cello, which
Yeah.
we'll bring that out next maybe. So I went up to San Francisco to pick it up because he was like, I think I'm done with it. Do you want to come get it? And I was like, hell yeah. But when I got there were a couple of other instruments that he just like randomly made on the side for fun. And this was one of them.
He had a bunch of teeth. Are they real teeth?
They're real like coyote toe bones
Okay.
and teeth. I think they're just from like various animals.
Yeah. Okay.
But it sounds totally, because it's glass and it's teeth, it sounds totally different than like a maraca, like a traditional maraca that might be made of wood or plastic or something.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of glass maracas, I think, because you could easily break them.
Yeah.
But it has its own quality, and so I ended up. You can totally. He made a version of it that plugs in, so we could totally. I think I mostly used it acoustic.
Who thinks I love this?
I mostly used it like this for Owl. Whenever Owl Owl does this thing like he shakes his wings.
Yeah.
And I used it like in that moment.
Yeah.
I would layer like 6 of these where he's like shaking his wings. Because it felt when Owl kills somebody, he shakes his wings. It felt very like spiritual. Almost.
Yeah.
He's like soaking up. I
Yeah.
don't know, he's a total creep. So the bones just felt like perfect for the creepiness of like feathers rustling.
Yeah.
You know? So I didn't end up using it plugged in. I used it kind of acoustic like that a lot. But on a different movie. Like if you're really delicate with it, kind of sounds like rats gnawing or something.
Yeah. Or like even like someone stepping on glass.
Yeah.
And like that.
So I could see it, being really cool. It's a very simple.
So cool.
It's just a piezo. It's called a piezo microphone, which is just a contact, basically it picks up the vibrations from the glass.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So it might even be. I had it, the teeth like right on top of it. So it might even be better if it was sitting on top.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tyler's just like. Yeah, I just show up to his house and he's like, "Oh, I put some assorted animal teeth inside of a Jameson." In case you want to use it on the soundtrack as well.
As one does. One does. I feel that. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
And I ended up using it. It's like the main instrument for Owl. Every time he flies overhead, there's always shaking. So I ended up using it a lot. So thanks, Tyler.
Who would have thought? That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
And it sounds different. Like, all these instruments, like you could say the Glory Box is like basically just a cello. Like, why wouldn't you just record a cello and add a lot of reverb?
Yeah, but it's not a cello.
Or like, why wouldn't you just record a violin or maracas? And it's like, there's some slight difference to the quality of these sounds that, to me, brings a lot of character.
Yeah, and it like in horror, that's also, I feel like, where you have more freedom to experiment with, non-conventional instruments to get the eeriest sounds, because oftentimes they're not coming from. I mean, you can have creepy violins, you can have creepy pianos, but it's like
there's something.
It's off. There's something off, and
Yeah.
it's like it adds to like that. It just amps the scariness.
There's a little extra like special sauce.
Yeah.
That if I was doing a comedy.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Hey,
you
I got
could.
I've got these teeth in a Jameson bottle to use on your comedy score. They'd be like, okay, cool.
Be like, great. For what?
Yeah. Okay. How does it sound?
Thanks.
So yeah, I just have so much fun with it.
Yeah.
I was telling another composer. I think I was talking with another composer about just like, why would we not want to have fun like doing this?
Yeah.
We should be like try to have fun, as much fun as possible. And so that's where I'm at, just trying to have fun.
Which
because I'm ADHD, and let's be honest.
You want to have fun, and it's
have
like
fun.
you want to make sure you're enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah. Because then I engage with it, and it's like you get a better. When people who make movies are having fun while they're making it, I think it inherently creates a better product.
Yeah.
Like you feel it as an audience.
Everybody shits on Adam Sandler's new movies, and I have been on some of his sets, and I'm like, you are having fun.
They're just having fun.
They're having fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can tell.
Yeah.
Like, is Hubie Halloween the greatest movie you've ever seen? No. Is it fun? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell they're just like, this is stupid. Let's go crazy.
Let's have fun with it.
Let's just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Why not? Because movies are supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have fun making them, you know, even the serious ones, but you're supposed to, like, enjoy it.
You're supposed to have fun.
Yeah. And as soon as you stop having fun,
it starts to why.
yeah, and then you get a different career. You're not having fun anymore.
I brought this for you, Katie.
Oh my.
I brought the Winnie the Pooh. This was my first vinyl. Not this one specifically,
Your
but
first
like
vinyl ever in life.
yeah. I've never owned a vinyl before,
You said
and I'm
my
gonna
first
give it
one.
away. What I meant was, as a composer, I've never had my music on vinyl, and so this movie is, you know, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is really special to me because it was big enough and got enough attention that enough people wanted to buy something like this, and we could make a vinyl of some of my music, which, you know, this is a dream of mine since I was a kid. You know, like, I mean, I collected CDs growing up, like soundtrack CDs, so that's, you know, I love that, but I never thought in a million years that like vinyl would come back, you know, or that I would have my music printed on a vinyl. So this is like one of the joys of my career, and I have a ton of them, so I wanted to bring you one in case you collect vinyls.
I am honored. I am so honored. I have the weirdest vinyl collection known to man. So like this is great. Like my vinyl consists of the Chicks album, the newest one, the Dixie Chicks.
Okay.
They're not called the Chicks.
I was like Chicks.
They're
No,
not
no.
called the Chicks. I know.
Now I know. Now I know.
Yeah. Alvin and the Chipmunks, but it's a punk album, right?
I'm in for that.
Lisa Frankenstein, Little Dickies, EP.
Little Nicky?
Little Dicky.
Oh,
Little Dicky.
I thought you meant like the soundtrack to the Adam Sandler
Yeah,
movie.
no, Little Nicky. That'd be very specific.
That'd be a good find.
That'd be a pretty good find. I'm sure it exists somewhere. And then I think I just ordered another one that was like super weird and random. Oh no, someone gave me one of my good friends, Taylor, gave me the like one of the first seasons of SNL on vinyl.
On
with
vinyl?
Lily Tomlin.
No way.
Yeah, and I was like, how did you find this? That was great. But that's my, and then now I have Pooh. So like it's a really obscure vinyl collection.
I
and
love
I
it.
love it.
Well, that's cool. So they have like random skits from the first season of SNL on vinyl?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's so cool. I think it's just her episode with Lily.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
That's cool.
Dude, this is amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm
my
honored to
pleasure.
have it. I feel like I have to have you sign it too.
You can. It'll be
and
worth.
you need to sign the poster behind you.
Because you went to the screening that I wasn't at, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
It's taped on.
It's taped
It's
on.
taped on. Otherwise,
Okay.
it will fall. If it.
Did you know that this is the other thing, like, the gift of Pooh keeps giving.
The gift of Pooh.
The bounty of Pooh.
The bountifulness of a good Pooh.
The bounty of Pooh keeps bountifying into my life. But truly, like, there are all these like firsts I didn't expect to ever have as a film composer, like a custom cocktail in AMC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you go see the movie at this movie theater, you can drink the blood and honey cocktail. Like, that's cool. I didn't ever, like, when I was growing up, I knew, like, one day I'll write music for movie. I'll have my first TV show. And I'll have my first, but I didn't think about, like, my first cocktail.
Yeah.
Or my first figurine from a movie that I've worked on. And there's a deal with a company called Rush Toys.
Yeah.
And they're making a 6-inch figure set, starting with Winnie the Pooh from Blood and Honey 2. And it's
That's
just
amazing.
like, I want 2 of each, you know?
Yeah.
I want one to keep in the box and then one to play with.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course.
So this the bounty of Pooh keeps giving unexpected joys to
That's
my
amazing.
things I never expected to happen to a career in film music. Like, you know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think like, oh, one day I'll work on a movie that has toy action figures, collectible figurines. I don't know. Maybe it's the coffee, but it's like delightful. I didn't expect that.
That's wonderful. So, where can the people find you? Find your music? Find also Tyler's stuff too, because we hyped him up a lot. At this point, is Tyler even real, or is Tyler just like a state of mind? You know? Yeah. You really thought about that. You're like, honestly, I've never actually seen him. It's kind of
maybe both.
I just went to San Francisco. It was actually in my trunk the whole time.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
I just drove up there and you know what? I don't actually know, because I had to meet him on the sidewalk, and it was just like a guy who gave me this random, Tyler, if you're real, tell me.
Tell him right now.
Tell me the truth, Tyler.
Tell me the truth right now, Tyler. Tell me the truth.
He's very real, and he's very much a genius. He's on Instagram. I think Instagram is the most. He has a TikTok, but it never took off for him, and it got banned anyways. So
what?
But he's very active on Instagram. Like, by far, is the one you should follow him at Violin Torture.
Okay.
All one word, no underscores, no spaces, no
Beautiful.
dots.
And
then me, you can find everywhere at Andrew Scott Bell. I'm across the board. That is the one that I have. You know, all the stuff, posting weird instruments, whenever I can.
Amazing. And Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is not on any streaming service yet.
Winnie the first movie is on Peacock.
Peacock, yes. Which, amazing. And it's also on Tubi.
Is it on Tubi?
I think.
I don't know. I should have looked it up.
I think it's on Tubi.
I think so. But it's you can VOD, you can buy it digitally, you can buy the Blu-rays. Walmart has a really cool Screenbox exclusive, I think.
Really? Cool.
It's really nice, cool artwork.
Okay.
It's a steelbook.
Oh
Walmart
my God!
exclusive,
leaving immediately
Blu-ray.
to go get that.
Yeah,
after this.
it's really
Holy
cool.
shit.
It's nice, and
That's
at least
amazing.
it's like reasonably priced.
Yeah.
It's not a super expensive steelbook.
Oh my God.
So, and I think it's a Screenbox. So
Okay.
I get them confused with other companies,
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure it's in a Screenbox Walmart exclusive.
Yeah.
And it's really cool artwork, and it has the bonus features. It has the thing. I made a little 30-minute documentary about the Beehive Inn that is on my YouTube, but it's also on the bonus features.
That's cool.
So you can get that, or you can, watch it on Peacock. And then I know that there's some really exciting releases coming up for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll hit VOD sometime in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And then there will be a Blu-ray and all this stuff. But it's got to make its way. Like right now it's playing in Mexico and Malaysia.
Okay.
I can't remember. There's maybe a third country that is like starting next week. And then it'll be I think in July or June, I think it'll play, or late May maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to the UK finally for some cinemas. They've been waiting. And it's just opening in Germany. That's the other country.
Yeah.
It just started. It's going to open in Germany like next week. So it's still like, unlike these, big studio pictures that open everywhere all at once, the indie films kind of have to like trickle around, unfortunately, just by the nature of like, different markets. You have to sell it in each country. When you're an indie film, you have to go to each country and find a distributor in each different country that, a bigger production company like Blumhouse already has those things in place. They can drop it, everywhere all at once, the same week. But we're kind of moving our way around the world, which is cool. Because the train never stops. Because like we had 3 days in America, but then it opened in Mexico, and all of a sudden I'm getting tagged in, some social media posts from people who just saw it in Mexico, and then now like I'll start seeing things in German and be like, I hope they liked it. I don't know what they said.
Fair enough.
But it just goes around, and it's cool. It's cool to see people from all different cultures kind of like grab onto something that I worked on. It's a real joy.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you, and it's so fun. This genuinely, the film is so fun. It's camp. It's silly. It's terrifying. Needles and all, and also bone breaking. That's
and
a lot.
bone shaking.
But bone breaking and bone shaking.
Oh, I'm supposed to look at this one.
You look into my camera. Bone breaking and bone shaking. But Andy, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
It's
Thanks
been
for
a
having me.
delight. And gonna say some quick things. Thank you to our sponsor, Filmcraft Studio Gear. You can find them at Filmcraft LA on Instagram or on filmcraftla.com. Get all your cool swag there. Look at this. Look at this chair. It says Katie Afraidy on it. It's pretty cool. Pretty dope.
You made? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, they say
Whoa.
Katie Afraidy on them. He gets
Look
out
at
a,
this.
Gets out a chair to admire it. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Katie Afraidy.
Okay. That's us. What can we say? Also, thank you to Fangoria. We love Fangoria. We love our Fango fam. You want a copy of Fangoria for 25% off? Use code Katie Afraidy 25. 25% off. Pretty good deal.
They make great Fangoria subscriptions. Are great gifts
Thank
for people. My Ashley got me a Fangoria subscription for my birthday one year, and it's still like I still get them. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she paid for it. Like I think she's continually paying for it. I'm not saying she bought it once and they.
And
made
you're
a
like,
mistake
I
or
just
anything.
keep reading the same ones.
Yeah,
I know them all by heart.
She keeps mailing me the same edition every.
She's like, wow, this is the same one. Are they struggling? Are they okay? They're not. This has been amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Go watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Go watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I feel like it's a tongue twister at this point now.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's amazing and so fun. So guys, go watch it and make sure to like, subscribe, give us a review, follow us on Instagram at Katie Afraidy, follow us on YouTube, Katie Afraidy. We're also dropping a Patreon soon. That's right. We're going to do Patreon and we're going to do some cool things there, have episodes come out earlier. So if you want exclusive access to that with extended cuts, because we're going to be cutting some stuff down on YouTube. If you want to help out, we would love to have you over there. But if not, no worries. But guess what? I love you. And I love you. I love you. And stay spooky, motherfuckers. That was really aggressive. I've never done that before. Stay spooky.